Rivian makes some really great vehicles, as is evident by what you see here, the Rivian R1S. Recently I reviewed this, so check it out if you haven't already seen it. But as good as the R1S is, Rivian is still struggling, and in this video I'm going to give you my opinion on whether or not I think Rivian will survive and even thrive. Starting a car company is an impossible feat. Elon Musk had to sleep on the factory floor while he was trying to make sure that Tesla didn't die as a company. It takes mind-boggling amounts of determination to make sure that a car company can work. Even giant companies like Apple, famed maker of the iPhone and MacBook, they recently had to shut down their electric car manufacturing dreams. Then you have Dyson, who makes some of the best vacuum cleaners in the world. Dyson's so great, they also had to kill their electric car manufacturing efforts. Fisker recently had to declare bankruptcy, and now they're under investigation by the SEC. And Lucid, well, we'll see what happens there. I'm glad Rivian exists, and vehicles like this R1S and the R1T are really impressive. We don't want Tesla to be the only game in town, so I want these companies to succeed like Rivian, like Lucid, and others. But the car game is incredibly difficult. Things go wrong all the time, and they're currently not great for Rivian. On top of that, you have to build a mass market vehicle that's safe, reliable. You can't have it break down all the time, and you're putting your life in the hands of these vehicles, these huge pieces of metal. And as consumers, we have needs. We have to have these cars be just as good as other luxury vehicle manufacturers that have been around for decades, like BMW, Mercedes. So this is a lot for a startup, a new company, to work out and figure out how to mass produce these things. Rivian showed a lot of promise early on. They had a huge IPO during the pandemic in 2021. The company was valued at over $100 billion. But lately, the news hasn't been so great. Recently, they just published an investor report where they're pulling down production numbers in 2024 from 57,000 to less than 50,000 vehicles. Rivian has been facing some supply chain problems, and look, these cars are so complicated to build. They're losing money on every single car. In fact, every time they make one of these, they're losing the equivalent of a Honda Accord. But that's still better than last year, where Rivian was losing the equivalent of a Mercedes E-Class for every vehicle they manufactured. The bottom line is for Rivian to stop losing billions of dollars of cash and burning through so much money for every car that they make. They have to build something cheaper. Start with something expensive and nice as the Rivian R1S, and then work your way down towards a mass market vehicle like the R2, which is supposed to come out in 2025. The R3, which will come out soon after the R2, looks pretty fantastic and so good that I might even want to buy one for myself. With the cheaper R2 and R3, Rivian will finally be able to be the volume player just like Tesla. The reason Tesla is as big as it is today is because of the Model 3 and the Y, much more affordable than the Model S and the Model X. For Rivian to become profitable, they can't just make 50,000 units a year. They have to make hundreds and thousands of these things to be on the road. And they have to be cheap, and tons of people need to buy them. The stakes for Rivian to be alive are very high. So knowing that it's going to take Rivian a couple of years to get the R2 and the R3 out there, the question becomes, how does Rivian continue to survive knowing that they're burning through billions in cash every year? Fortunately, they've found a lifeline in Volkswagen. They recently signed up a joint venture with Volkswagen where they're going to invest $1 billion into Rivian and an additional $4 billion over the next few years. This is a win-win for both companies because Rivian gets to stay alive with that money, and Volkswagen gets to use the amazing technology that Rivian has created. It's about time to replace the junk that comes with Volkswagen software. But besides money, there's one big thing that Rivian has to deal with, and that's intense competition. It's not just Tesla, it's Volvo with its Polestar, it's the Ioniq 5, it's BMW's i4. Every single car manufacturer is building some sort of EV these days. And by 2025, Jaguar has announced that they're gonna go fully electric with all of their vehicles. Can you imagine the number of EVs that will be on the road by the time the R2 and the R3 hit? And that's really the thing that brings a lot of uncertainty into Rivian's future, is the sheer number of EV competitors that will be out there a few years from now. Tesla had extreme first mover advantage. They actually kickstarted this EV revolution. The reason why cars like this exist is because of Tesla. So it's no wonder that Tesla is as successful as it is today. You could argue that the future of Rivian really depends on the R2 and how well it sells. If you look at what Tesla did, the only reason they're as big as they are is because the Model 3 and the Y sell so well. They're mass market vehicles, cheaper than the Model S and the Model Y. The R1S and R1T are way too expensive. It's got a limited market. Not everybody can afford or pay $100,000 plus for a high-end Rivian R1S. And the only way Rivian can become a profitable business is to build vehicles at scale. They're not gonna make money making 50,000 cars. They have to make hundreds of thousands, 500,000 or more, the same as Tesla, in order to have a sustainable business. So with the R2 and the R3, Rivian's future is really dependent on those cheaper mass market vehicles. No matter how difficult the road to success might be for Rivian, I think they will succeed, and here's why. First of all, they know how to build electric vehicles. This R1S is fantastic and incredibly impressive. You can only imagine how much better the R2 and the R3 will be. The R1S is great to drive, and even if the technology is not quite up to par, especially compared to Tesla, I'm sure in a year or two they're gonna get there. Whether or not companies succeed or fail has a lot to do with its founder. Look at Steve Jobs, look at Elon Musk. RJ Scaringe, the founder of this company, has been at this since 2009. 15 years later, still going at it. He's not giving up anytime soon. And as long as he continues to lead the company, I strongly believe that Rivian will be a success. And in case Rivian runs out of money, they can always go to the Saudi Arabian Public Investment Fund, the same place that Lucid got its billions. With all of the oil money that they have, the trillions of dollars, they could easily loan a few billion to Rivian to keep it alive. See? Problem solved. As long as you have great products and you keep making your products better and better, a company has a strong likelihood of survival.